What is going on, people? Welcome back to episode 3 of series 2 now of the Celta Vigo career mode. You may be thinking, Dan, where on earth is the face cam? Well, we're kicking it back old school today, going back to some post commentary. The reason being, of course, if you watched yesterday's Road to Glory career mode, you'd know I had a little bit of issues syncing the audio to the webcam and stuff like that, and I'm yet to fix it. So I've decided I didn't want you guys to go out video, and so I would just do today's one as postcom. Hopefully it'll be fixed for the next one. Nothing changes. Obviously, I know the outcome of today's games, but there's still 4 for you to watch and enjoy. In amongst all that, we make our debut in the Champions League with a game up against Fenerbahce, but we start the episode off here with this one against Real Sociedad. Now, traditionally, Real Sociedad, we've done okay against them in this series in the first season. We didn't do too badly. The only team to have defeated us so far 100% of the time has been Sevilla. And this season, that's going to change. I'm going to make sure, before we have a game against Sevilla, I'm going to name my strongest team for it. I want revenge against them this season. It's not like last season we didn't have a good team against them. They genuinely just outplayed me on both occasions, and I did deserve to lose because I was the worst of the 2 teams on the days. But this season's going to be different. I've got the confidence now that we're going to go on, kick on, and at least, we won't lose both games to them. That's what I'm trying to say. That's my aim for this season. But this one against Sociedad started off pretty well. Emre Moore feeding Santi Mina inside 20 minutes to get us up and running in the start of the episode. And you know what as well? In the last one, we obviously made some big name signings. We signed Andrea Belotti, in which he scored for us on his debut. Wasn't the most convincing goal in the world. He did miss a chance later on as well in the game. But in terms of the players that we've actually got at the club, I don't know who is going to be our standout performer this season. Because although, yes, Andrea Belotti has been brought in for all the money that we paid for him, what was it, like £41 million? I picked him up with the mindset that he was there to score goals. He was there to put the ball in the back of the net, but it was going to be the other players to feed him. Now, I've got a few players that I think are going to be quite important this season. One of those guys is Pion Sisto, as he made it 2-0 to us in the 25th minute. So between Sisto, Mina, and Emre Moore, which is probably going to be like the 3 we play in behind Andrea Belotti, it's going to be a big year for the likes of Pion Sisto and Santi Mina. Mina did very well when he came over for Valencia in January of last season. He had a good 6 months, but now he's got his first full season with us. So I'm hoping for big things from him. And as well, Pion Sisto seems to be so consistent, as we're seeing in this game, as he made it 3-0 to ourselves here with only 20 minutes remaining on the clock. It was his second of the afternoon. It was our third in total. It wasn't great defending, though, from Sociedad. The ball through from Belotti actually was world class. The touch from Sisto originally was pretty bad, but he made amends for it. Got through, took the ball back off the defender and slotted home to make it 3. We weren't done there, though. A lovely passing move again from us as Belotti finds the Botka. He will go back inside to the Italian, who did well enough to get his shot away after a fake shot. And the keeper, unfortunately for Sociedad, just couldn't get near it. And it was Celta Vigo 4, Real Sociedad 0. 2 minutes remain on the clock. It was going to be 3 points coming back from this game with us, but as I said, no surprises here, because traditionally against Sociedad, we've actually been, decent. We've got the results when we've required them. So I really wasn't surprised to see us playing this well against Real Sociedad. And as the referee brought the game to a close, 90 minutes gone, it was the 4-0 victory. I think we had a very good performance from the likes of Santi Mina there. Also, Pion Sisto, for me, should come away with the man of the match, but it actually went to Daniel Vaz. He picked it up from the centre of the park. To his credit, he did dictate the play quite a bit and was able to, keep the opponents quiet in that area of the pitch. So he did have a pretty good game. But personally, I would have given it to Pion Sisto. He had an unbelievable performance there. We move out of that one and into our debut of the Champions League. I switched around the side ever so slightly for this one. Marvelous came into the middle of the park. That's Nakamba, that is. I saw a comment on the previous one asking me to call him Marvelous instead of Nakamba, which is what I'll do from now on. So, yeah, Marvelous came into the centre of the park. He will play alongside Vaz in place of Garcia for today. And I think we also had a change in the, defensive structure? I'm not 100% sure, though. I think I made 2 changes. We'll see it when it pops up anyways. Fenerbahce's side, 4-4-1-1. Nothing that really worried me, to be honest. And I felt like we could come here and get a result, which we did actually go into. And no, it was only the 1 change from us. In fact, no, it was 2. That was it, the keeper. I thought for a second I was going crazy there, but yeah, I was sure there was 2 changes. There was Paul Lopez also coming in for Ruben Blanco. So those are the changes we made. And it was us who started the better of the 2 sides. Andrea Belotti there, testing the palms of Khomeini in between the goal sticks for Fenerbahce. Nothing great with his effort, though, and it wasn't really a great strike. And it took until the last 15 minutes before we managed to create the opener of this one. Pion Sisto on hand to score it, but massive credit goes to Daniel Vass. These two having, quite simply put, a phenomenal episode thus far. Vass and Sisto seem to be our 2 main men in this one. Lovely touch from Sisto and an even better finish, but credit goes to Vass for the cross in towards the middle. And with 13 minutes left on the clock, in a game where it's been quite underwhelming, we thought it was going to be Celta Vigo getting themselves a debut victory in the Champions League. As I said, though, major credit to Pion Sisto, who makes it 3 goals in his last 2 appearances in this episode. Tremendous return from him. Maybe he's up for grabs on the thumbnail. Who knows? But anyways, we continue on, and then Fenerbahce decided, hey, listen, been quiet all game, but now we're going to do something with the ball. A quite brilliant passing move, I've got to say that for sure. As Giuliano here does meet with a nice piece of skill, but eventually lays the ball inside towards Soldado. Back to Giuliano, back to Soldado. Lovely play. And in the end, Topal equalises the game up at 1 apiece. Quite boring for the first 75, but the last 15 certainly kicked into action. Lovely move, as I said. I couldn't really do a lot against this. Fenerbahce just found their rhythm in this particular one. Roberto Soldado here, formerly of Spurs, wearing that number 99 shirt, was the assist maker. And as I showed you, it was pretty much it for this one. A 1-1 draw in our debut game of the Champions League. Not the way I wanted to start it, but at the end of the day, not a lot you can do differently there. Our group, as you know, is still very tough. We've got Manchester United and FC Porto in that group. So the chances are, without putting ourselves down and sounding too harsh, if we honestly make it out of this group, I'll be very surprised. Because there's 4 teams in there who, I'd say Man United are probably favourites. But then between the other 3, it is pretty damn close. So if we make it out, I'll be happy. But at the same time, I'm not expecting a lot. I've got low expectations, high hopes is the way I like to look at it. So moving to the next one, it was a game against Alaves, which we simmed, and it was a 3-1 victory. Belotti, Mina, and Vass on the score sheet for that one. Vass, again, continuing his good form for the episode. And then from there on out, we had 2 more games to come. The first one was Leganes. The second one was Real Madrid. So the final game of the episode today that you're going to watch will be Real Madrid. But up until that point, we have this game against Leganes, who'd enjoyed a very good start to their league campaign after finding 7 points from their opening 12. After 4 games, they found themselves in 7th place. We are one of the only unbeaten sides left in the division. Alongside us is, of course, Barcelona, which they're probably going to be heading for another title this season unless we can try and stop them. But as the early signs show, it's probably going to be quite hard to do that, as we found out last season. The side for the opponents lines up like that. For us, though, it's our regular lineup with Garcia coming back in. Gomez starting in place of Moore here, as Mina moved out wide to the right. And then, of course, Belotti up front. Dermisi, though, got himself a start in place of Johnny. And let me say this, he took full advantage of it. Inside 10 minutes, goes on a mazy run and lays it on a plate to Santi Mina, who scores to open up the scoring here inside the 11th minute. Lovely work, though, from Dermisi, who was back in the team today ahead of Johnny, just because I felt like giving him a start. It wasn't down to the fact that Johnny was lacking fitness or anything like that. I just looked at the team and I thought, you know what, we'll give Mbaye a start and we'll give Dermisi a start. So no Hugo Mayo in this one either. It was Mbaye and it was Dermisi as our fullbacks. I did keep one mind on that game against Real Madrid, so that could have been the reason why I did this, but at the same time, I wanted to see what our other 2 fullbacks had in their locker. And it just so happens that the 2 assists for the opening 2 goals came from our fullbacks. Mbaye getting in on the act as well now, as he lays one on a plate for Pion Sisto. And these 2, man, Sisto, Mina, Vass, everybody is stepping up. We may have paid the big bucks for the likes of Andrea Belotti, but we haven't had to use him or rely on him just yet, because the other players around him are stepping up. And in many ways, that's what it can do. When you bring in a player of Belotti's quality for that kind of money, not only are you getting a player that's really good, but you're getting a player that's going to ask the rest of his teammates to step up and match his quality and ambition. And that seems to be the case here, as Dermisi wins that flick on inside the 50th minute. 2-0 up already, looking for the 3rd. And as I said, he took full advantage of his first appearance, or first start, sorry, in the side this season. because he's had a storming performance here, picking up a second assist on the day, and thus far a clean sheet as well. So there's not really much more you can ask for Messi here than what he's currently putting on show. And whether or not he's going to be the starter over Johnny, we could kind of question that. Maybe he deserves a run in the side in maybe some La Liga games, and we focus on Johnny being the starter for the Cups and potentially the Champions League. That might be what we do, but all I know is that Messi played out of his mind here. But it wasn't all plain sailing for us, because defensively, again, we were a little bit shaky. And I don't know what on earth happened here, but then Leganes picked themselves up a penalty. I can only assume this was given for a handball or something along those lines, because there was no challenge in there that I felt Gomez impeded the attacker in any way, shape or form. And the referee pointed to the spot, and my mind instantly thought he's given that for handball. Because as you remember, I did turn the handballs on in the settings. So there was every chance that we're going to see a few more handballs down the line. We got given one recently. This time we're penalised for one. That's what I'm going to assume it was. I don't know whether or not it was, because I wasn't 100% sure. But that's all I can assume. And unfortunately, our clean sheet that looked so intact previously, having dominated the game, was not intact in the 56th minute, because the spot kick was converted. Blanco trying to do everything he can to put off his man. He even pointed in the direction the penalty was going, but he ended up jumping the other way, and it was, in fact, a goal for Leganes. So 3-1, but it looks like we're going to get the points, because we dominated most of the play here. But then we continue on to the 66th minute. Gabriel here on the ball. Good work. Finds his teammate inside. It's Eraso. He lays it up towards Guerrero, who flicks it around the corner. And then just like that, Leganes pulled a second. 22 minutes left. It's 3-2 on the clock. Anything is possible from here on out. And in the 90th minute of the game, I was praying for a miracle, and Ruben Blanco saved us. I don't know if that was already on target or if it was heading wide, but I honestly didn't care. I was just glad to see Blanco get a hand on that and push it out for a corner, which we in the end defended, and we did get the 3 points. A very nervous end to the game, though, after conceding 2 goals in that second half. One from the penalty spot, which I didn't think was a penalty, so you can kind of say that's a little bit of an issue there. But at the same time, to throw away a 3-0 lead the way we did and almost only come away with a point, could you imagine the scenes if that had have happened? I would have honestly gone ballistic with the players. But luckily, it didn't end that way. We did get the 3 points, and now we move into this one against Real Madrid. So far, we got a victory in Game 1. We got a draw in Game 2, which was the Champions League. We got a victory against Alaves, and we got a victory against Leganes moments ago. If we win this one against Real Madrid, that will be 4 wins from 4 in La Liga. The side, as you can see, as it lined up, we had Emery Moore back in, Santi Mina back in, no Gomez in the side today, but it's our usual suspects. For Real, they had the 4-3-3 with Ronaldo, Vazquez, and Benzema up front, so keeping those guys quiet is going to be quite tough. But as I said, you know, in a previous episode, when we played against Real Madrid, I don't know what it is, we just don't seem to get the look. They seem to get all the bounces and everything like that. And inside the 65th minute, because it was quite a close first half, this one, there wasn't a lot separating the two sides. But I've got absolutely no idea what Ruben Blanco was thinking. A cross comes in. Instead of catching it or punching it over the bar, he decides he's going to punch it back out to the same area where the cross came in. They won the header back, Real Madrid. It fell to Ronaldo in the box. His shot was initially blocked, but of course, we talk about the luck. It bounced straight back to him. He profited and opened up the scoring. And to say I was disappointed would be an understatement. I was livid. I couldn't believe that Ruben Blanco had palmed that straight back in, but I have to give credit where it's due. Lovely skill from Gomez, who came off the bench, set up Andrea Belotti, and this is why we paid the big bucks for this man. If you threw 1-on-1 with a keeper in the 90th minute against a team like Real Madrid, you need the best strikers in the world to finish your chances. That's exactly what Belotti is. We got him through, managed to wriggle through as well. I've got to give credit, as I said, to Gomez, who actually played the ball in. But with 2 minutes additional time, we found an equaliser. I said the game hadn't been a lot of chances. There really wasn't. It was so close between the two teams. And as the game kicked back off, the referee ended it. It was such a close affair, this one. It's going to be a recurring theme, I think, against the likes of Real Madrid. We always seem to have really close games against them. But if I'd have lost that, I would have felt a little bit hard done by. And again, going back to the Ruben Blanco thing, he's entitled to make mistakes, but if he wants to be our number 1 at the club, he's got to do better with that cross. Either catch it or punch it over the top, you know what I mean? Regardless though, guys, that is how we will end today's episode off. If you did enjoy it, a like would be greatly appreciated. From next one, we should be back to the live episodes with the webcam back and stuff like that. If you're new around here and like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Alongside that is the notification bell, and I will hopefully see you all again tonight for another video. Stay tuned, guys. Catch you all later. Adios.